East Coast?
I'll answer that question in a second. But first, I want to welcome everybody to AI Affected, the podcast about AI and algorithms' effect on our life, work, and relationships. I'm very excited about our guest today. He is a jack of so many trades. He's a writer, he's a producer, he's a comedian, he's an improviser, he's a hip-hop artist, he is an alumni of National Lampoon, he was a writer for MTV's Wild 'N Out, and one of my favorite human beings. Welcome, Jeremy Gumbo Christian.
Appreciate you, Russ, baby.
Yeah, man.
Man, you remember all? You were practicing.
I got it all here in my notes, but I didn't read off my notes.
That's my guy, man. I'm happy to be here, bro.
I come prepared.
Happy to be here, man.
Dude, thank you for being here.
I'm happy to be here.
Right.
I made it here.
You did.
As you know.
You made it up from the ranch.
I made it up from the ranch. The PR, baby. You got to make a little bit of hood, Russ. I came from the PR, bababy.
That's how we do it. Everyone comes from somewhere else when they land in Beverly Hills. Nobody comes from Beverly Hills.
Nobody comes from across the street.
That's right.
Came from the PR, baby, the P Ranch.
Yeah, so to answer your question, I mean, I was in Boston. You know, you're in college. It's like your first time being independent as an adult. And now, man, I was just hanging out there, just like enjoying New England. And then, like I said, my girlfriend, I just graduated and then I just quit law school. That was the first thing I did after I finished.
Did you tell me that?
No, I sometimes talk about that. I finished college. I got into BU Law School, which was like right next door downtown. I did it for not even a whole semester. And then 9/11 happened. While I was in, I think it was civil procedure class. It's like people had their laptops open, they're waiting for the professor, and they're watching the towers go down.
That's crazy.
And they're sitting there being like, oh, should we stay? Do you think we'll have class today? What is wrong with you? Go home.
I mean, they just did not believe that this was actually... I mean, when I saw it, I was like... I saw it on the news, and I was like, yo, like, this can't be.
I mean, it felt...
Because we're used to seeing things like this happening overseas.
Yeah, it was very surreal.
But you were over there. You were on that side of the country.
Also, Boston is where the planes came from. Yeah. So it was like there was a lockdown going on over there. There were like F-16s flying overhead on the Mass Pike as I was driving back to my apartment. It was crazy. But basically, my takeaway from that whole thing was like, I don't even know why I'm in law school. It was just kind of, I didn't know what I was doing, but I was on the debate team, so it seemed like I should go to law school.
This would be the thing that you would do being on the debate team.
Yeah. And then I'm saying to myself, like, you know, I'm doing this for some degree that might be useful in some way, but now the world might be ending, so I should probably do what I really want to do right away. So I got out of there.
I don't mean to represent nobody while the world is ending.
Yeah, exactly.
Who the hell want me to represent them?
I ain't got time to spin my wheels with this useless degree.
So what'd you pivot to?
Comedy.
Wait, so did you not finish? You were in school?
Dropped out of law school after one semester, and then I kind of just hung out. This was, again, just the year after I graduated from college, and then my girlfriend was 1 year younger, so she was finishing college. And then when she finished, we were like, where are we going to go? So she was from LA, and I was from New York, and she won. And so
she won, bro.
So we moved to LA, and we lived in her dad's house in Brentwood for 6 months while I was desperately looking for an apartment because I didn't want to live in his house.
Did you guys drive by the OJ Simpson house?
Yeah, that's the whole neighborhood. It's just like an OJ memorial.
No, were people still talking about it then? Because I mean, I used to live in Santa Monica, and I would drive over there. I think there was a gym over there, something like that. I forgot what gym it was, but I would. Oh, it's OJ over here. I would still hear it. This was like 8-9 years ago. And I would still hear people talking about it.
Brentwood would be forever tarnished by that.
Damn, bro. He did that shit.
It's a nice neighborhood.
OJ did that shit. Anytime you walk like that, you walk like a killer.
If I did it. So you were telling me a little bit about your recent trip to New York where you guys were doing a bunch of comedy.
Yeah, I was just telling you, I was inspired. Just, first of all, just the people there, you know, just everyone is like, has somewhere to go. The only people that you saw kind of standing around was like me. Everybody else has somewhere to go. I was just standing around looking at everybody and saying like, where the fuck is everybody going?
Because it seems like everyone's going somewhere all the time.
Everyone's going somewhere, but it was people who were, I started to look like a person that had somewhere to go, and I didn't have shit to do. You know what I mean? It was just, but I think the thing is, it's almost like traffic. Like, you know, keep the traffic going. You know, you don't want to be the person that's stuck. You either stand to the side or move along with everybody else. So I did see people that's just kind of like, some people I would see would go in the same direction, but some were going to coffee shops. Some were going to, you know what I'm saying, to meet up with a friend somewhere. Everybody was doing something. But me as a person that's like very interested in just like the lives of people, like where is everybody coming from? Like where'd you come from to get to here at this moment? Like I feel like people's lives are interesting. So there were some people who I had a chance to really talk to that were in they did Broadway, and just like I was telling you earlier, like being so just being in the audience and watching some of these shows, but actually having a conversation with them. You see one side of them on the stage and the lights, but then once the lights go down, it's like obviously we're normal regular people, whatever, but it's like their lives are still filled with like a lot of stress.
Yeah, the struggling artists.
Yeah, struggling artists and stuff. But I feel like in New York, like it's so compacted. You see everybody's an artist or used to be an artist, or you know, and not so much trying to be an artist for the limelight. It's just that they, you know, they want to figure out how they can make a living as an artist. So even with that, like even in LA, like we all have our struggles and stuff, but I was just inspired just by people that were not really knowing their stories, but knowing that they're like, hey, I got to do what I got to do. I got to go work this coffee shop. I got to, you know, do this job that's I don't want to do. I seen the trash guy. I never seen so many trash guys that seemed so okay with, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't like they were sad. It was sad. It was like, yo, this is what I got to do, son.
That's a good job,
I gotta, you know what I mean?
Get a pension.
Yeah.
Get days off. It's not bad.
There was one guy, he was, he finished his job. He was, you know, dumping the trash or whatever. He went inside of a 7-Eleven, which I didn't even know they had 7-Elevens in New York. And he went and grabbed the beer, poured the beer in the cup. He was just sitting, I wish I had a camera. He was just sitting, drinking his beer. And I said, man, you had a long night. He said, yeah, man. He said, gotta go to the studio, gotta go drop these verses, son. And I was like, word.
So the garbage man was a rapper.
3 o'clock in the morning.
All right.
He's like, I gotta go back to Brooklyn and I gotta go finish this album. He was like, respect. He was 48, but I mean, like, you know, hey, respect. Yeah,
gotta keep hustling.
Be 50 dropping the album.
What neighborhoods were you in when you were hanging out there?
I went to Brooklyn.
Where in Brooklyn?
Hart, bro.
You're asking a Brooklynite, so I need to know where. I don't even know. Brooklyn is huge, dude.
I went to bro. To be honest with you, I don't really. I was like,
what? Okay, was it like a short ride from the city or a long ride from the city?
So I was in Times Square.
Okay.
Right. So the place that I went to, if I can remember if this is the right.
If it was
it was a little ways from the city though.
Okay. So was it like downtown Brooklyn kind of thing?
I was close to downtown Brooklyn. And I'm terrible with just demographics, bro. Like I was downtown Brooklyn. But then one of the places I went to, I think it's called Bowery Electric.
Yeah, the Bowery.
Is that Brooklyn? Yeah. I went to Bowery Electric. Tiny Cupboard or some shit like that. Tiny Cupboard.
That's my favorite deli. That's so they have the tiny cutting board.
Is it really?
No, I don't know. I don't know what tiny cupboard is. But I grew up in Canarsie, which there used to be a saying for like in the 60s where people would tell somebody else to be like, I kick you all the way to Canarsie, because it's literally at the end of the train. You cannot go any further east. It's all the way across. So it's in the boonies of Brooklyn even.
So is this considered, is it like a South Brooklyn? East Brooklyn?
All the way east.
So East Brooklyn. And that's the furthest from everything.
It's one of the still to this day not gentrified at all neighborhoods in Brooklyn. So that's how far it is that they didn't even bother getting hipsters out there.
Yeah. Harlem looked different from when I last
Harlem is nice.
Saw it, man. Yeah. It looks very different, bro. But no, I didn't get on the subways this time. I was Ubering everywhere, bro.
It's fancy.
Yeah, I was Ubering everywhere. Yeah. I mean, my mom came, my mom was up there, my brother came. We were just kind of doing I was doing my shows. We sold out at the Broadway comedy, and then we did a couple other spots up there or whatever. But it was kind of a mixture between doing tourist stuff, you know what I'm saying, and doing the comedy shit. Next time I go up there, I'm gonna go just strictly just on some like comedy thing. But I really wanted to kind of go up there and just kind of figure out how can I take the same energy that I applied here in LA and take over.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
It feels like a multiplier, like being in New York, just because everything is on top of each other, and you can do 3, 4, and 5 gigs, and you can just hop between one thing to the next.
Well, I mean, because I had so much shit that was going on, like I did a good amount of shows, but I think when I look at friends that go out there, this was my first time going out there doing stand-up comedy. So for me, it was more so like I'm a type of person, I gotta observe, look at something. I don't just go into something and figure out how I can strategize. I need to actually be in it, see it, feel it, and then I could go. So some of the places I didn't perform, I didn't get the chance to perform at the Comedy Cellar. I was supposed to meet the owner up there. known, but I just needed to be in it. I just need to see it. I'm a visionary, so I got to see stuff. So even with that was just good enough to just be in it, you know what I'm saying? Just to feel it, knowing that these were places that some of the greats performed, the Richard Pryors.
Yeah, the space does. It changes everything. Just like being in, like doing improv, I know.
I want to do improv up there. I want to do improvisation up there.
You know? But like the space definitely affects your performance. Like from an improv perspective, like you know whether you have to be, if you're right on top of the audience, it changes it. If you're separated and above them, it changes how you're performing. Big ceiling, low ceiling affects like how much you're projecting, what kind of characters you're going to choose. Like,
how do you feel about that though? Like, is there a preferred space arrangement that you prefer?
I like being right on top of the audience. The lyric,
them looking up at you.
The Lyric Hyperion, where we used to perform, in Silver Lake,
love that space.
Is maybe my favorite improv theater in the whole city because, well, they changed it. I was there recently.
So it's not flat floor. It's not.
They filled up a lot of the empty space. They put a stage in. It was just all a big long floor. Now they have a little stage, so they reduced the amount of performance space. So it looks more professional, but I don't know if I like it as much as it was before. Because before it's like an arena.
Yeah, it's like a little small arena,
and everybody's seated upward, stadium seating, and you can get right on top of them. When it was like that room was electric.
And you were able to, I think some of the shows we did, people were sitting on pillows and shit. Like that shit was like, that's my vibe right there. It was very intimate.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I performed anywhere that was that. I mean, maybe I have. I performed at some unorthodox comedy venues. Maybe they weren't comedy venues. They made them to comedy venues. But that was just like, hey, there were people laying out eating Cheetos and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Drinking, Hennessy, fucking tea and shit. But it was just like, it just felt, warm.
Totally.
Everybody felt everything. So that's my jam. Like, not that I don't like performing at bigger places. It's just that it's a different thing. It's different when you're performing, when it does, like you said, it changes your characters depending on where your space is. I feel like when I do bigger venues, obviously you got to project, but it's not so much about projecting. It's more so about the subjects that I might choose. It's more for everybody versus it being, not saying it's not coming from me, but it's different when it's like me and you. Everyone's right here. It's more intimate right here. The discussions, the conversations that I have a joke, but the joke is still being worked on. At least I realize it's still being worked on based on the dialogue that I have between the people that's in the audience. I can't do that. I can, but it's not as intimate when I do like bigger spaces and stuff.
I want to ask you a question about how you developed that stuff, because I've heard you talk about when you were a warm-up comic for Big Bang and The Bachelorette and all these shows, and it was kind of like you were just thrown into the fire.
I was thrown into the fire, bro.
Like you weren't even a fully fledged comedian yet. You were just an entertainer and a hip hop artist. Who's learning on the fly.
Yeah, I didn't. Well, I think you noticed wasn't trying to be a comedian. It wasn't. I think that's also the beauty of it. Not trying to do something and you just kind of like stumble across some shit and you're like, oh, maybe this is for me. But then it also kind of took away some of the anxiety that I hear from friends have. Like this, you make this thing bigger than what it really needs to be. So I just kind of just been on this journey with comedy, and it's not like a searching thing. It's almost like the shit found me. So getting it, like doing the audience warm up thing, it was like when I first moved to LA, like I had a friend, she was kind of like a friend. Her name was Elena Fisher. She was an associate producer for like a lot of TV shows. I met her in Atlanta. And funny thing is how I met her was because I had an audition. She wanted me to audition for this TV show. It's called For the Love of Chili from TLC. I said, man, I don't really do this type of shit. I don't do no.
And she's like, but your name is Gumbo. How could you not want to do this?
That was a good one. But she like, yeah, your name is Gumbo and Chili. Let's go together. But long story short with that, I was auditioning for it, and the audition got cut short. Why? Because there was a guy at the top of the building, B103 in Atlanta, radio station, one of the two big radio stations in Atlanta. Guys trying to jump off the building, and who talked him down off that building is fucking T.I., the rapper.
Oh, really?
But no one could leave the building. I had to be stuck in the building with her. So I kind of, in that hour and a half, I developed a relationship with her.
Yeah. What a great way to develop contacts is have a crisis situation happen in the middle of the show and nobody can leave.
Bro, we stuck in there like, did you jump off yet?
You're friends for life after an hour of that shit.
Yeah, so then like when we followed each other on Facebook, and then she started, I moved to LA. She was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you moved to LA, you didn't tell me. She texted me and she was like, what are you doing here? Why are you working? What's going on? And I was like, nah, not yet. She was like, have you ever did audience warm up? Didn't know what the fuck it was. I was about to be like, I'd be like, nah. And before I could say no, she was like, meet me at Americana and Brand.
Wow.
And I was like, when? She was like, in whatever, how many days it was. You're going to do audience warm-up. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck is this? I've never been on a live set of any TV show.
Had you done improv at this point yet?
Was I doing improv? I wasn't doing improv yet. I mean, I've done improv just as a rapper. You improvise. You know, we do that shit going up in the hood.
Or like crowd work or whatever.
Yeah, in the hood, we roasting. We did characters and shit like that. So it was, but it wasn't like, taught.
Right.
But I hit up a couple of guys. One guy's named Don Barris. He's a huge audience warm-up guy. It's really only 3 of them that's been doing it for like past 30, 40 years. And I hit him up. He didn't respond. Another guy, but Roger Lumblade, he hit me up. And I met with him. He pretty much let me go on set to see him do audience warm-up, and he threw me up there. Yeah.
How long are you doing when you're doing this?
Wait, just when I do audience warm up, or when
what is a standard? Is it like 15 minutes? I mean, is it a half hour? What?
I think it depends. When I had to do my first one was the one I had to do Americana at Brand was it was for an episode for ABC's CBS Bachelorette.
Yeah, ABC.
So they had like a it was like a dodgeball tournament or whatever. I was up there for like 3 hours.
3 hours.
Up there 3 hours.
How do you do that?
So I was thrown in the he threw me in the fire, but I was thrown into the fire. I didn't have no DJ. I didn't have none of that shit that he had when I saw him and everybody do audience warm up. I ain't had none of that shit. Man, I brought up something beatboxing and shit.
I mean, that's for a lot of people. I mean, granted, they're not public speakers, but that's like their worst nightmare is to be like, well, here's a crowd to entertain for 3 hours. Okay, good luck.
It was hard. And on top of that, the audience wasn't centered in one place. I had to, I'm sitting up at Russ. I'm running around with a microphone like, hey, I'll be back. I'll be there in 1 second. Anyway, so, who from Russia? Anybody from Russia? I'm just like trying to find funny bits, but I'm doing this for like 3 hours.
Crazy.
Like 3 hours of trying to find material, bro. And I'm literally, it's a dodgeball. It's kind of set like a baseball field. It was in Americana Brand in Glendale. And I'm literally like, I got to entertain people that's over here, that's in this big area and in this smaller area. It was just crazy. But everything else was so much easier compared to that. You know what I'm saying? All the other opportunities were so much easier, bro. So I was just like,
do you know what that reminds me of? There's like a folk tale about the Beatles and how they became the Beatles was they get hired to perform in this like German restaurant, and they would just be performing on the street for like 8 to 10 hours every day for weeks, and they had nothing to do but figure out how to fill the time, write new songs on the fly, and it was just being thrown out there. I think this is in one of like Malcolm Gladwell's books about how you need like the 10,000 hours to be mastery of something.
Yeah.
And it was literally them being thrown out on the street in this German cafe where they just worked for months on end, 10 hours a day, that they just had to get good. There's no other choice.
That's crazy.
So
this is before they got found, right?
Yeah. Before they were famous, yeah.
So they were just out there just fucking up. But figuring it out as if
figuring out how to fill the space and be entertaining and work with each other and write songs on the like nobody has 10 hours of material, and they were doing it every single day. I feel like
like I said, I stumbled upon comedy. I feel like I just been like just fucking up forwardly. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, like, I always looked at comedians like, yo, that's silly, that's crazy. I never want to be, you know what I mean? Like, I always wanted to be, I mean, I was silly, but I never wanted to be like, I always tried to be cool. I always trying to, I don't want to be, I'd be silly with my friends, but like, if I was around girls and stuff, I wasn't trying to be like silly. So I always kind of looked at like, just comedians are like, you respect the greats, the GOATs and stuff, but like when you see people say, I want to be a comedian, it's kind of like, bro, that's corny. And you actually get into it and you're like, it's a lot of hard work and it's a lot of darkness that's, you know what I'm saying, behind a lot of this wanting to make people, you know what I'm saying, laugh.
Yeah.
But I just kind of fell in love with just like the journey of just meeting like great people, you know, and even knowing their stories. And some people started out that I met and then they stopped doing it. They went to raise their families. They, you know, went to kept the 9 to 5 and tried to move up. It's because it's not an easy thing. But I think I feel like some people are doing it, just trying it out. They don't know. An agent told them they should do improv. Agent told them they should do stand-up comedy, maybe. You know what I'm saying? A producer will see you doing that. But doing it because when you wake up in the morning, you want to go do improv. Wake up in the morning, you want to see if these thoughts that you have about a certain thing that you saw on the news or about whatever AI or you have an opinion about it, you want to see if you could formulate thoughts that could make people laugh, no matter how dark or how, you know what I'm saying, light the situation is. So I kind of, it's almost like people, you think about like Einstein, right? Just in love with equations.
Yeah, while his day job is a patent clerk or whatever.
Yeah.
He's scribbling that on a napkin.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like that. But it's for me just being able to kind of just figure that out about my brain. It's a lot about self, really. Self-discovery.
So a lot of famous comedians, and not all of them, but like Richard Pryor definitely, they had so much comedy fuel because they came out of a life of like early trauma. You know what I mean? Like Richard grew up in a brothel.
Bro.
Yeah.
A brothel, man.
His dad was a pimp and his mom was a
his
prostitute.
Grandma was running a brothel. His uncles were like pimps.
And so like for me, like I don't know that I had like I think a kind of an average amount of trauma, but a lot of the trauma was kind of passed down from my grandparents who like went through all of the Holocaust stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
And so that kind of secondhand provides a lot of my comedy fuel. Do you feel anything like that, or is it more just a vibe to like hang out with people and make art together?
Well, I don't really like people like that. I did. They been in LA. I don't like people. I become more of an introvert being here in LA, And I think it's a mix between, because it's hard to find genuine people. You have people that they want to build a relationship, but there's a hidden agenda behind the relationship. So it kind of makes you become a little bit more guarded. So no, in regards to like wanting to hang with people. But for me, I am interested in people, where they coming. Like I said before, with New York, I like to know people's stories and stuff like that. So, but for me, as far as like when I'm writing, you're looking at the computer and you have that cursor, you're just staring at the cursor or whatever. Like comedy is one of the things that is one of the few art forms, or performing art forms, that you have to dig into your darkness. You know what I'm saying? And the greats, only the greats are the ones that really were able to. You think about Robin Williams, man. Like Robin Williams, bro. Like GOAT. Yeah. It's a GOAT, bro. Like it's a GOAT, man. Like, but I feel like he pulling these characters out is also a defense mechanism as well. I feel like sometimes we don't want to deal with core, so we have all these other things that kind of help, fill up these memories or these thoughts that keep us from, meeting our ultimate demise, or doing something that would be self-destructing, right? So a lot of times these I love Robin Williams, Mrs. Doubtfire, Aladdin, Goodwill Hunting. Just all these characters, they help so many people, but they were saving Robin Williams himself. You know what I'm saying? Because you develop these defense mechanisms. These characters were helping you to stay alive. And I feel like as comedians, we do that as well. And I don't think it's anything abnormal about it. It's just that's a profession that we are in, that we are able to take these different things, these different ideas, these different thoughts, formulate them, put them in front of an audience, being vulnerable, knowing that we can fail with, and saying that now we live in a cancel culture, so you can say anything or thought about something, you're done. But having to pull from a dark place, also knowing that there's someone in the audience that feels the same way that you do. It's just that we're so programmed to put this wall up and say, I don't feel like that. That's, we all kind of feel some of the shit. So it's like it's almost like we're going to war for the people in the audience. So for me, a lot of times I am trying to pull from, I don't necessarily say all dark places, but like you want to pull from real places that may be considered to be dark from other people.
I feel that what you were talking about defense mechanisms, because like the first year that I did improv, it was all characters. It was all like, I have a range of characters that I can do, wacky characters, silly characters, different accents, whatever. But it was never me. And I had to go to, when I went to I.O. when I was learning improv, there was one class taught by Eric Honeycutt, and the whole class was just called You. And it was like, we're just going to be you, you're going to be yourself, and you're going to be comfortable being you on stage. That was the hardest class I've ever taken, because all of my defense mechanisms had to be put to the side. And I don't think of my regular personality as interesting. And so I was like, this isn't interesting. Isn't it more interesting if I'm like a Scottish, like a flamboyant Scottish lord or something like that?
That DJs.
Yeah, this is what people want to hear. They don't want to just hear me. And so, but that was the beginning of me being comfortable being just like a closer to myself kind of character on stage. And it took a lot of work to feel like it was worthwhile.
How often do you do that though? Like how often because I know like we're boys and stuff. So yeah, we have conversations. Like I know that's Russ I'm talking to, but on stage, I never really see.
On stage?
Because you have so many characters. Like you
yeah, easily... I mean, even if it's me as a heightened version, you know? So like I play the straight man a lot in a lot of scenes where there's crazy stuff going on, and I'm the guy trying to say like, well, this isn't reasonable, or you can't just burst through the wall. You're a Kool-Aid man. You can't, you know, whatever. That's a version of me.
Got you.
Me being like, if I'm playing a character like an incompetent boss or something like that, that's a version of me.
Got you.
But
I see what you.
I wouldn't even do those characters in the beginning because it was always like had to be such a departure from what I typically carry around to feel like it was interesting to an audience.
I feel like comedians should do this though. I feel like comedians should do that exercise or whatever that, because when you first start out doing comedy, you're pulling from everybody's shit. You pulling from everybody else stuff. You know, you don't even know who the fuck you are. Like I love Bernie Mac. You watching the Def Comedy Jam. You know what I'm saying? I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. You watching that and you wanna do that. You want to pull from Martin Lawrence, you know what I'm saying, Jamie Foxx and the Seinfelds and all these guys. So, but I feel like being in a environment where you're told you have to be yourself, because a lot of times we first start out, comedians are not themselves, because you know, where could you be vulnerable other than going to a therapist? Where you can't do it in your classroom. You know what I'm saying? We can't go and talk about your, you know, be vulnerable and talk about your personal life at the job that you just got. Like you can't. And you don't do it in comedy unless it takes years to really get to that place to like feel like you can be completely vulnerable. Richard Pryor wasn't even that person. Even though he talked about growing up in these neighborhoods where there was the Jewish community, there were Italians, there were Hispanics, and there was a black guy, you know, black families or whatever. Like he grew up, you know, and all that, but like even still, like he's still talking about the surface of it. We didn't really get to knowing the real Richard Pryor until he started dealing with like,
I think right after he set himself on fire was when then he really talked about like what led him to that point.
Well, I say that and before that. I feel like when he left, because he was getting these gigs, these big Vegas gigs, but I think he felt like he was just not being himself. He was just, you know what I'm saying, felt like he was just a nigga. You know what I'm saying? That's all he felt. He felt he couldn't speak his truth. And going on the stage, he couldn't. If he wanted to be in these non-chitlin circuit shows, he had to make sure that he had to cater to, you know what I'm saying, a white audience.
Isn't that part of why he, like stylistically, he was very close to like Bill Cosby for a while? Because Cosby was known as like this accepted black comedian.
Yeah, that's what he wanted. He, you know, Cosby was very commercial. He was very commercial, very clean. But Richard didn't come from that. Richard came from, you know, he had a lot of demons. We all got demons and stuff. But he's like when I look at like the Patrice O'Neills, like they come from that tree, because he's been very like, he learned that if he really wanted to do this, he had to be vulnerable. He had to talk about things, and that's why he went to, you know, San Francisco, Oakland, and was hanging with the Black Panthers and stuff like that, and really being around that and being integrated into the thoughts and having conversations, and that led to different, you know what I'm saying, Richard, you know, going to Africa, you know, things like that. So I feel like everybody needs one of those. We need to do the you exercises. Everybody needs to do that, bro, because like we're so, you know, we do as much as we can to not talk about the truth. You know what I'm saying?
It's all a projection. Hey, speaking of the truth, you know what? Before I make this transition, I got to do a spot real quick.
I don't want to talk about it. I'll just play.
So speaking of discovering yourself and being more authentic, discover a new path to inner peace with Shirley's spiritual yoga meditation healer, chakra balancing, energy cleansing, and more. Call 424-542-9070 for a free consultation and start your transformation today. All forms of payment are accepted. Call for a free consultation. Great. So
you got to put that cash up in there.
We covered the cash part of it. I put my reading glasses on for a reason. It wasn't just to read a spot, which is that, speaking of being genuine, you are occasionally very outspoken on social media. And I think you try to push people's buttons.
I do. He said occasionally.
Occasionally. Sometimes it's just support and love, and sometimes it's like, let me make you think about something. So I'm gonna hit you.
Here this guy goes.
And again, you can shut this down. You don't have to do this.
It's his man.
I'm gonna hit you with a quote from your social media, and you tell me about the thoughts that led to that statement.
Yeah.
Okay. It's against the law to speak freely.
Hold on. Can you say it how I would say it? Can you say it like a brother?
Oh yeah. I'm sorry.
Said, oh yeah.
I'll do my level best.
Oh yeah. Okay. It's against the law.
It's against the law to think freely. What does that mean?
I thought I had more to say in that one.
I know there's some longer ones, but that's the first one I chose.
It is though. It is. You can't. You think about even during the pandemic, you couldn't talk about certain things. You had the bots and stuff coming out of nowhere. You couldn't say, there were certain things you couldn't say.
Yeah.
Even now, like I feel like you can't even talk. Like, look, we're in comedy, so it's gonna hit a little bit different as a comedian, as an improviser. It's gonna hit a little bit different. Art form comes in different ways. You know, there are things that can be possibly said in a painting that wouldn't get the same reaction that would be said coming from, I guess, the horse's mouth. I myself have been in situations where, you know, it's like, should I take this gig and I can't say what I want to say and be truthful about what's going on?
Is this just like because it's a quote unquote clean gig, or is it just because of the venue or the owner, or like where is it that you're going and you're like, I can't necessarily?
Well, I've done shows at like country clubs. Me, I'm gonna speak my truth regardless. I can do comedy about cursing.
Right.
I like to curse. I can do comedy. So it's not about the cursing. It's about, are you going to say something that's going to be polarizing? Is it going to be like, this is what the audience is, this is the age group, this is the demographics? Make sure that you don't say this that would probably, you know, piss off the audience. I'm like, bro, like, so I had to turn. There were gigs that I turned the fuck down. Like, bro, I don't care about the money is good, but it's not good. You know what I mean? Because all I'm doing is fueling the fire of closing up the zipper on our mouths and not speaking, you know, our truth. So that's just with comedy,
right? But
just in general, like, I can't, you know, the voice police are alive, bro. I can't say certain things you can't say on Instagram. I can't even post certain things that I might put. It would probably get passed on Facebook, but then it won't get passed on Instagram. Like, it might get passed on Twitter, but it won't. And it's like who's watching all this stuff? You know what I'm saying?
Is this the type of stuff that you feel like you can do in a comedy setting, but you can't do on social media, or is it completely like a third rail, and it's something that you feel like you'll get in trouble if you incorporate it into your act?
It's both. I mean, it done it always like them damn leaky pipes in my house right now. You think it's just right here, then you actually examine. It's like, damn, you can't. You know what I'm saying? It's leaking right here. You gotta fix this right here. It's leaking with trying to put a hold on our thoughts and our speech in many different, you know what I'm saying, pipes is running within the house of America. You know what I'm saying, or just say in the world in general. But we live in America. So it's not just with comedy. I'm just saying it because I'm a comedian. I don't know what it's like for someone that works at Ernst & Young and, you know what I'm saying, and they can't say what they want to say to their colleagues. And I'm not saying being disrespectful, but even what's considered to be a respectful conversation these days, it's now considered to be hush hush. You can't say that. Oh, you should never say that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I mean, one of the things that I love the most about stand-up and comedy in general is it is supposed to be the last bastion of free speech.
Supposed to be.
It is supposed to be, you are paid, or we're paid or not, you're there to deliver the truth to people in a comedic setting, so that even if you hit them with a hard truth, it's funny, and that makes it acceptable to say.
That's facts.
But somehow that has gone away a little bit.
I mean, I was just having this conversation with the homies in music. You know, I do music, but I don't do music that much anymore. We was having a similar conversation, and I told him, I was like, bro, like, isn't it funny that we can't say certain things? You know, for instance, with vaccines and stuff like that. For example, you couldn't say if you were not for it,
right,
or you had questions about it. Hey, I'm for it, but I got questions about it.
Yeah,
you would get hushed, right? But me, as a black guy, grew up, you know what I'm saying, projects, grew up listening to hip hop artists. I could say a lot of negative things in a song. I can say nigga this. I could say F, you know what I'm saying, women, you know what I'm saying. I can say all these negative things, and it gets passed through. It gets fed to the masses,
right? And
you know what it does. But when it comes to just having a thought, just thinking, just questioning, wanting to know about something, you know what I mean? It's nope, you can't go there. We can't have this discussion. We can't have this conversation. Now we live in the day and age where everything is cut into pieces.
Yeah.
So even this podcast, someone would take something out of it.
Me, like I'll edit highlights.
Yeah. Or as George says, the chat GPT app would take out the stuff that they want to give to the masses. And You know, so we're in a very like, look, man, like we're in a place and time, man, where it's like it could be scary. You know, it could be very scary having an opinion. It's always been that way, but now it's like we're so close in connection with each other and from different countries, but we're just one slide away from knowing what's going on in another third world country, or another country in general.
I want to talk about the vaccine stuff, which is maybe a little bit less of a hot button than it was, 2-3 years ago in the middle of the shit, but still very sensitive issue, which is like, one take that I have is that a lot of people who come from whatever you want to call it, marginalized communities, minority communities, are skeptical of doctors because there is a long history of doctors experimenting on people from marginalized communities and the results not going so well.
Yeah.
It's like the government, was it Haiti? It was somewhere in Central America, maybe Haiti, where we just gave them a bunch of STDs just to kind of see what happened.
Yeah,
just kind of experimenting on them.
They did that shit in Tuskegee.
And like, the old people in my family have stories about like Dr. Mengele from the Nazis, and he would take him and experiment on him and do all this crazy shit. And how like my grandfather's first cousin like was in front of Mengele, but somehow he managed to escape his lab just by like the skin of his teeth. So it's like we have this weird familial cultural memory of this. And then we're in a situation where for my family, we all had COVID very early, like before lockdown.
Told me and Matt.
Yes.
You told me and Matt.
We had it super early. So, if you have this kind of old world first principles theory of medicine, you're like, I had it, so I'm good now. Like, this is Black Plague stuff. Like, people had the Black Plague. Oh, you had it? You can go help dispose of the bodies because you had it. This is like 1,000-year-old knowledge. So I'm like,
go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm like, the whole family had it. It was a pesky sickness, but we were all okay. And then we're like, and then some number of months, like 7-8 months later, they're like, oh, we have these vaccines, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. We don't need it because we had it.
Or you have the option. Okay, if you want to go take it, you have the option to go and do that. If that's what you. The thing is, you have the choice to say yay or nay, but to not be criticized on your choice.
It seemed like such common sense for somebody who also is like, I was misdiagnosed by doctors growing up like a million different times. They diagnosed me with asthma, which I didn't have, and it turned out to be like a thing I had to solve through like vitamins and diet. And so like I've been through this whole journey of like,
just drink some water.
Just rub some dirt in it. I'm fine.
Motherfucker drink water and cured it.
So when they're telling me like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, you need this, not just a vaccine, but a brand new technology that the vaccine is built on there's zero long-term testing. We've never seen what happens to people after 10, 20 years. We don't know, but definitely take it even if you've already been sick. I'm like, no, that seems like an obvious no to me. And then that was the opinion that's like, well, we can't have you on set, we can't hire you, all that stuff.
Yeah, I think look, man, I feel like for those that needed it and it worked for them, and either way it go, whether you take it or you don't take it, you have to live with it. One thing's for sure is like, is whether you want to call it COVID or whatever, is some shit going on. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even finna going deep into conspiracies and shit like that.
You should hear what other guests on the show have done.
So
if you want,
I feel like everything is always connected to a deeper meaning, darker meaning. Everything is, I don't really want to go deep into all this shit, but like control is at the basis of a lot of everything. Pharmaceutical industry,
compliance and control.
Compliance and control. But I feel like with anything, doesn't matter what it is there's always going to be pros and cons to a decision. You just have to be okay with living with that. I was so strong in my conviction of knowing like this is, I ain't gonna get it. You know what I'm saying? I was just very strong in my conviction with it. You know what I mean? Because you do your research, and even knowing with research, you still kind of stumble. You still like, yo, bro, I got my questions, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there got to be other ways. If I do get this, it got to be other ways because I'm not seeing enough information, and it just got on the market. You know what I'm saying? So do I want to put this in my body and not knowing what it's going to? It's almost like, bro, I'm just gonna have to if I do get it, bro, I'm just gonna have to like take my chances on these past years. I know I caught some other shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm here today. So it's but even with that, it's like censorship, bro.
Yeah. Do you know one of the insidious things about this marginalized communities and vaccine stuff was, so statistically, the populace that was least likely to be vaccinated, had the lowest vaccination rate, was Native Americans. And again, long history of being mistreated and experimented on and mistrust and distrust. And then all of these major newspapers started running articles about about a particular tribe, I think it was Cherokee, but I have to check, who had a very high vaccination rate for whatever reason. But the way that the article was worded, it made it sound like Native Americans in general have the highest vaccine uptake. So they were trying to like get out in front of it. The fact that all these marginalized communities were like, nope, no thank you. But then the stories that they're running are like, this Native American community has the highest rate of uptake. And I got into a debate with somebody on Facebook where he's like, look at this one article. I'm like, this only talks about one tribe. If you look at the data from the CDC themselves, they say that it's only like 50% in Native Americans in general. So what they're trying to do is cover up the fact that they can't convince these people to take it and just go like, yeah, everybody's taking it. And that is like really insidious.
Manipulating the masses. That's why one of the things, that's why I'm, even with this artificial intelligence, bro, like I'm fearful of that. And you know what I'm saying? Because it's like we can get to the point to where a government official, a presidential candidate could come out and say something that would just make a one side go crazy that affects everybody. It doesn't matter whatever it is, but it's not them. It's AI.
Or like a deep fake or something like that.
Well, I mean, deep fake, you can kind of tell like with deep fake.
You need a good voice actor for a deep fake.
Yeah, but I mean, like even just like with just information that just comes out and you think that it's coming from, because people are sheep, bro. You know what I'm saying? To some extent, we all are sheep to some extent, right? We've all been guided to do something, you know what I mean?
But we can tout ourselves and say comedians are less like sheep because it's literally our job to observe everything that's going on and criticize whatever the majority assumptions are at a given time. Be like, hey, this thing that everybody's doing, this is stupid.
It's dumb. So I mean, it's a scary thing. It's scary. And this has always been a case in just history, right? There's always been a case where you couldn't speak out against, you know what I'm saying, the I'm gonna say the small group that controls everything. You know what I mean? That's why it's so important for people to have these uncomfortable conversations.
Okay, this leads me to the next Gumbo quote, which is, the next civil war will be a battle over your mind. Which side are you on?
I mean, yeah.
Is that just kind of what we already covered that, Grant?
Nah, I mean, it's if you know that what's going on in Russia, like it's, you know it. You don't know it, but it's in the news. It's you know it's told. It's
hitting you every single day. From if you're on the internet, you're seeing messaging about it.
Yeah, it's hitting you, but then you kind of become numb to it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's just how the human brain is. Like you could lose a good friend or a family member, whatever, and it hurts right away, but over time it subsides. It hits you at spurts or whatever, right? But it subsides over time. It does affect you later on. You do become a different person. But with wars, you know that it's going on. You know that if we protest out in the streets, you know there's a protest that's going on in the streets. You see it. But silent wars, when it's a silent war, you don't know that it's going on. You don't know that your mind is, you don't know that your children are at risk. You don't know that, you know, it takes the conversations and it takes getting away from the social media, and it takes like, hey, stepping away and then coming back and looking at these things. You know, I've had my different awakenings and stuff where I sat back and was like, yo, bro, like what the fuck? Like, but the war is of the mind. I can even take it back to like slavery, where even with Harriet Tubman, we're trying to free as many slaves as possible. It's just that the ones that were comfortable, they were like, no, this is home. Like, like no, master is good to me. Like I can't up here that battle had already lost that battle. You know, she said she could have freed more slaves if they knew that they were slaves. You know. So even transitioning with that, like we can become slaves to fashion, we can become slaves to what we watch on television, but the content, the substance that's in it. Like my daughters, you know what I'm saying? Like I worry, I have to like, what are you watching on YouTube? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Now I gotta go watch every episode to go back and look at, you know, and I have done it. I have gone and seen things in certain episodes. I'm like, bro, I'm not cool with it. You can't watch this. Yeah, you know what I mean? Because you're not old enough to even be able to dissect it and understand. If you're not old enough, it's just like you just like take it and then you're just gonna run with it. You know what I mean? So, but that we had always kind of been at a war of the minds and stuff. Going back to what I was saying about like hip hop, you know what I'm saying? Like I was a hip hop artist, and I remember record labels and stuff. I would record songs. I mean, one time, bro, I recorded a song, and it was just talking about situations I'm going through, being like the having a gun on me, not even going deep into details, but recording a song and giving it to the A&R. It's man, this song is great. It's this white guy. He's like, man, this song is amazing. But I feel like if you can just kind of say that you had like, maybe you said instead of having like this amount of weed, maybe you could say you had like a couple bricks of cocaine, and it's like an AK-47 that's in there. And I'm like, bro, that's not what happened.
Yeah,
that's not what happened. I won't do it, but another artist will, and that artist,
so they wanted to make you into more of a caricature.
Yeah, yeah, but it's like hip hop was based off of like truth. You know what I'm saying? Being truthful. Of course, it's embellished a little bit in some ways, but there's no way that you're a millionaire. You're still talking about how you got to hustle, like, bro. Like, I hate those type of rappers. But it's a war in the minds when you got kids that they will never become a Jay-Z, they will never become a Meek Mill, they will never become that, but they listen to these songs and they want to be there, so they feel like they got to stay. Even if they have like a chance to go to college, the war of the mind is still feeling like, you know what? But this is who I look up to. I look up to this artist, and the record labels are feeding these songs out, and it's going like, gotta make sure you get back to you from Bronx, you from Brooklyn. Gotta make sure you gotta make sure they get it first.
Right.
That little kid feels like he has a chance of becoming the best rapper, but before he becomes the best rapper, he has to be the best dope dealer. Do
you feel like in your stand-up or writing or otherwise career that you get pigeonholed into that sort of thing, where they're like, you know, you're a guy from Louisiana and you got this particular background, so does that mean that like you can only do stuff targeted at that kind of stuff? Have you come across that?
I have been put in that position where maybe by certain bookers wouldn't want to book me. This is very like early. I mean, I've only been doing comedy like 6 years, but if you include improvisation, you know, going on like 8, you know what I'm saying, 9 years or whatever. But yeah, to a certain extent, you do deal with club owners, club managers and stuff that try to pigeonhole you and put you into a certain, you can only do this room, you can only do it on this night. That's kind of when I began to started producing, bro, because it's like I come from the era of like creating, doing shit out of the trunk. Before you get noticed, you're doing it out of the trunk. You know, Russ, like you come from New York, so it's like that's like a city where it's like you definitely doing CDs and stuff. Yo, listen to my album. Like they still doing it to this day. To this day, you still got guys that got CDs and stuff that are still like they're 18, 19. But I also got the hard drive. If you they got
I was gonna
both.
say we ain't got nowhere to play your CD anymore.
Yeah, they ain't got nowhere, bro. But you know the older people they got CDs in their car and stuff. Yeah. But I have been in those positions where, you know, hey, you can only do the black night. You know what I'm saying? Or I give you this spot, but I give you a certain amount of minutes. And I realized just like producing, that's why when we did Let's Be Honest was so dope, because we had everybody from everywhere, and it was like we was feeding off each other. It like developed like I've never been a part of a group where everybody's still like cool, like
everybody hangs out for no reason.
Everybody is cool, you know what I'm saying? Matt comes to town, you know. But that is a reason why, because I have been in positions where, you know what I'm saying, been pigeonholed. But I knew I had to, in order for you to be able to kind of convince people, you have to kind of show them in your own way. And that's why like was so dope with like the Hollywood Improv, like they, you know, reading those guys up there, well not guys but lady and the management, they let you go and do your own thing. But don't get it twisted though, it's still a business. Yeah. So it's like you still have to like keep your eyes and ears open. You still can't forget about, you know, the underground. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, I always look at places like that's a building. If that shit fucking burn up, like if you just depending on these bigger name venues and stuff, then you're gonna be fucked. Right. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be screwed. So I always, they be like, well, bro, you sold on every single show that sold out. You know why? It's because it was built through the community. It wasn't a guy who just came in. It was like, I want to put, I don't give a fuck about putting big names on my show. I don't care. I never been that way. Right. Never been that way. My favorite artists, rappers and stuff, like when they do their first couple albums, they don't put big names on there. They just build their following through the communities, and they'll collab with other artists that are on the come up as well. So I don't get caught up in all that star, you know what I'm saying, this person has this special, and that, yeah, if I'm cool with them and they and I jive with them, then yeah, I'll put them on the show. But like, there's nothing like creating your own, but also doing it with like-minded people. You know what I'm saying? And you like, at the end of the day, like you can still hang your hat up, close your eyes, and rest your mind knowing that you're doing it for the love of it. Yeah. All that shit burned down, we still go back to the Lyric Hyperion and take them fucking stages off and shit.
That sounds great. I remember a time when we were on the Flappers improv team together.
Oh my God, bro.
And we did one of those marathon 3-hour shows, but we like revived the audience, we resuscitated them, we killed after they were all dying for 3 hours, and we did a great set. And this woman came up to me after the show congratulating me, you guys were so great. She's like, you know, I work in this little theater and you should come play. And then she was like, we have this great diversity night. And she's like, well, you can't be in that, but there's the white people perform also on a different night. And I'm sitting to myself, I'm just trying to be polite. I'm just like, thank you, that's really nice. And I'm just like, did you just say we have a segregated improv show and you can't come? Is this where we live now?
Did that happen? What? Did that really happen?
100% that happened. And she was trying to be nice when she was like, thought herself, she's like, oh yeah, but you can't come to the diversity show. But the white people perform on Tuesdays, so you should call them.
I would have came that motherfucker on a Tuesday. I'm here to perform, bitch. Like, you know what it is. I'm drinking out of the all white water fountain.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, nah, bro. I mean, them flappers. But I appreciate flappers because that put us together. It was just crazy.
That was a great experience.
Bro. That's what sparked the let's be honest, bro.
All right, let me see if I got any more Gumbo quotes that I want to do. We talked about that.
If you say what you want, you're gonna go to jail. Hey, Richard Pryor get arrested too, man, for saying shit.
All right, here's one more.
Oh my God.
If you want to control the black family, eliminate or emasculate the black man.
Mm-hmm. What is that? I mean, if you wanna, a tree, right? Watch me say something real stupid. Hey, you know a tree, right?
I got it. It's an analogy.
All right. If you shave off the size of a tree, I mean, like I feel like the strength of the root of a strong family comes from the man in that family.
So, do you think that there's some kind of concerted effort right now to destroy like the typical male role model, like father and husbands and all that stuff?
100%. Because once again, you go back to slavery, right? Of course, we're not in the war is not in our face now, it's in the mind, right? So even think back then, like when we're breaking, in order to be able to control and make sure that family doesn't, and it's not even just with slavery, it's with all cultures. With all cultures, when other tribes would try to come and take over another tribe, you can go back to Scotland, you go anywhere, it's every culture, but with slavery, that's what it was making sure that you put fear into the family, into the man, into the family, but through the man, because that was you were the strongest ones that were on the slave plantation. So if you could put fear into that man, the woman in return would make sure that he would stay in place to make sure that he doesn't do anything that would harm any other people in that family.
So how does that manifest today? I
mean, today is, you look at it like, even when I was talking about with music, right? It's how can I redirect you from being the best version of yourself? It's in music, it's in television, it's in media in general. It's in the everyday walk of, I mean, even in my neighborhood, bro. It's, I got some cool neighbors now, but like even in my neighborhood, it's like, bro, are you the lawn man? No, bitch, I live here. This is where I live right here. I've been here for 2 years across the street from you. What are you talking about? But it's the redirecting of making you feel like you don't belong. That's one, right? You can look at it in school. You can look at it in the workplace. You can look at laws, how certain laws are policies. You can look at it just from, look at the number of African American, men that are in prison, right? Yeah. You take it back to the 80s, with drugs, So is it? And it infiltrated to where it was a thing where it's like the laws that were created, putting drugs in the community, there was so many things that could have been done to stop that, but it created a lot of like just trauma in the black family, And I deal with it on a daily basis. I just thank God, like I come from a lineage of men who were strong black men, that they never looked at, they went through what they went through. They dealt with racism. Grandfather dealt with Ku Klux Klan like that, but they never let it be a thing that controlled them. Which is why I'm so comfortable with all cultures, all races, all no matter what your sexual preference is. Like I've always been, because I've seen my dad and granddad in it. Sometimes I don't even realize I'm the only black guy that's in there, because it comes from within, and it's taught. It's telling you like, hey, this is what's going on, but at the same time, like you belong anywhere. But it's the ones that don't feel like they don't belong, that they have to feel like when they go in certain places they shrink up, and that's that's different ways where you get emasculated. You're emasculated just through media telling you don't belong. You can't, even in acting, where you should only play this role, right? You should only do this type of song. You should only be able to talk about this type of stuff as a you're only limited intellectually. You're limited. You should only able to talk about this. That's why you have to appreciate certain comedians that look like in the 90s and stuff. We had the comedian, the Def Jam comedian. Love them. I love watching. I still watch them to this day. But there's certain things we don't have to do certain jokes anymore. We can talk about different things. We've gotten roles. We've lived in different countries. I've lived in Spain. I lived in different places and stuff where I can talk about things outside of just the confinement of where I grew up at.
Right.
So it's like the ones before us, they had to take certain jobs, had to take certain roles. You know, they had to talk about certain things because you weren't going to get booked on certain shows, or you won't get certain jobs if you wouldn't just take this. Sometimes you have to do it because you know what, this was going to feed the family. But that's what they did for us. So now me as a producer, as a comedian, it's so important for me to get the Netflix's Joke Festival. People say I wasn't supposed to get it because I wasn't known. But my mind says, who the fuck are you to say I can't do this? I'm not doing it just for me. I'm doing it for everybody who feels like, doesn't matter if you're black or white. Of course, I'm a black man and I'm a media effect, you know what I'm saying? Black culture, my family and friends that are around me. Right. But I'm not I wasn't born to be limited to just that. And I need my daughter to know these different stories and stuff, to know that like dad like pushed through these different, you know, in my own way, pushed through these different hurdles and these different boundaries and stuff. So, you know.
So can I ask about, I feel like since we're kind of a similar age, we come from a different ethic, which was more of a kind of a race blindness is what people were shooting for. It was just like treat people the same, just have respect for people. Now it seems to be different. The ethic seems to be like an absolute focus on race, and that's what you lead with, and that's like the first thing that comes out is whatever it is, you know, your identity comes first, like whatever the gender identity or the race or the thing, rather than we're just people and we all have different experiences and let's like listen to what this person is about. Now it's more like you lead with your identity and it's like a much more front and center. Do you agree with that, or do you think that's like a good evolution?
You say you feel like we are leading with,
I feel like
identity wise, like, we lead with on the outside, like our skin, our ethnicity, our ethnic background.
I just feel like everyone's hyper conscious of it all the time because that's what every conversation is about. And like maybe this is naive me, like, you know, I went to a public high school in New York where it's like everybody's in the high schools like half white, half black, you know, Hispanic. Well, there's some portion of Hispanic kids too, but it was just like the ethic back then was just like everybody's just people. And you know, you could argue that was maybe a glossing over of something that shouldn't have been glossed over, just to be like everyone's people, we need to understand each other. And now it's much more like here is the black experience and here is the Hispanic experience, here's the native experience, and we're kind of hyper focused on that.
I feel like I can say for like me, like in the South, like it really wasn't as integrated like that, you know.
That's a different, you know,
origin. I mean? Like, I could see how in New York, like how everybody was like, you know, just vibing to the, you know what I mean? Of course there was like there's racism, there's separatism and all that stuff, but I feel like for me, like I definitely had it, but it was more so in my household. Like I never seen my dad like I've seen certain people that'd be like, you know, like that, hey, that's Mr. Johnson right there. Mr. Johnson, he'd be the white man, he'd just be the milkman, but you had to like you know, it was pointed out. It was pointed out, that's what this is what that person was, yada yada yada. But I feel like in different pockets, and I don't know how it was in LA, you know. I mean, you know, it was the riots in the 90s and stuff, you know what I mean? I don't know how that I'm learning some of this stuff now just with friends that are working in the industry. I have a friend that Cottrell Kindred, she worked on Snowfall, she's a director on Snowfall, and I went to go see her what's it called, a viewing party of an episode that she directed or whatever, and she was just so tearful talking about like that time in the 90s and how you know, friends would just get pulled over by the police, how it was just crazy, how crazy that was. But in some ways it was like that in Louisiana, you know. I feel like we've come far in a lot of ways, but in a lot of ways we're still like behind. I think it depends on where you live at, you know, in certain aspects that because if I go back to Texas, I still see some, you know, the separation with blacks and Hispanics. I see that it can be just with jobs and stuff, you know, Hispanics and white people. My Jewish friends, sometimes like they be like, if you're not hip to, or you've had experience with people from different cultures, you don't understand. I have friends that the Jews, they be like they're talking about white people and they be like, I'm not. So but if you don't have conversations and understand that people separate themselves from the difference, you not knowing that a person is Jewish and they have had their own lineage of the Holocaust and their grandparents having to deal with that, you have to have those conversations to know the distinction between, you know what I'm saying, just I'm not a white person. Somebody be like, yo, that's a white guy, right? That's a white guy, and you're gonna feel.
And I'm like, okay, but
I used to be like that, bro.
No, but I know, but And you're
I
right.
didn't know until I started, like, because it wasn't like a lot of people in Louisiana that was like,
no, that's not part of the general education. But it's like, maybe half of my family tree were murdered by white supremacists.
That's what I'm saying.
Who said that my grandparents and their family like weren't part of that culture and they didn't belong. And so it is complicated. It's hard. So people just be like, oh, you're a white guy. And I'm like, I get that. And I'm sure I get a lot of privilege, and cops are maybe less hostile when they pull me over. But at the same time, like, I've never felt like part of just regular everyday society.
Yeah, but I get that because, once again, I like to know about people's origin, not just the X-Men. I want to know about, you know what I'm saying? I want to know, like, where a person came from, how you were raised, Some, I'm not saying I do that all the time, but it's like I'm interested in, I'm a child of a psychologist, so it's like I'm into wanting to know just the different layers that make up who we are, you know what I'm saying? But it's different asking a person like myself, who I'm aware of a lot of things, and I move in that way, but I'm not aware in a way to where it hinders me. So I do go, people invite me to places and stuff. I don't think about I'm the only black guy there. Right. I don't think about it. I don't give a fuck about thinking about it. But I am very aware, conversational wise, when I know someone may not think that I'm smart enough because they don't know me. They may assume, see the tattoos, I used to be a rapper. Right. They may not know. They may not know my experiences. They may not know that I've lived in different places. They may not know my pain that I've come from. They may not know anything. They're going to judge me based off of that. So I do have that experience all the time. But I think sometimes you can't let things hinder you from becoming successful. If you feel like you don't belong somewhere, you just, another reason why I do like when I do the Hollywood Improv, I do this spot. It's called the debuts, and I give like 5 spots that people have never been in there. And the reason why is because I have this thing. I believe that I do affirmations all the time. I have my daughters, they do affirmations. I believe that once you touch something, once you feel something, once you sit into something, and before you even actually get activated, do those things. Bro, I've seen so many people who they've never performed these places and they get that opportunity, and then I see them like, oh shit, you got a show here. You got a show here now you perform at the Comedy Store. And that's just on that, in the level of like of being, entertainer or whatever. Right. But with the racism and the separatism and with your gender, I'm saying, sexual preference, all those different things, like there's just more things that kind of keep us separate. So to answer your question, it's more separated because there's more reasons why we separate ourselves. Look at gender, look at vaccinated, unvaccinated. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it's also because it's like media does a great job of keeping us separated. I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't like everything on Fox and I don't like everything on CNN. I watch both of them motherfuckers. Yeah. And I don't watch. I don't like everything with the Democratic Party. I don't like everything in the Republican. You know what I'm saying? That's something that we talk about. I don't like, there's certain things that you should be able to pick and be able to say, I don't like everything about this dish. Right. You know what I'm saying? The main dish is alright, it's not great, but I like the carrots, I like the cabbage, and the drink is so. You should be able to.
That is a more nuanced view than most people can take. Something we talk about a lot in this forum when we're talking about algorithms and how they affect people is that they separate people into camps and interest groups, and everyone has a filter bubble, which means you're searching on Google or you're searching on Facebook, it just gives you more of what you already like, because that's how the algorithm's programmed, because it wants you to engage in whatever it is, the social media. So it's like, oh, well, you like this, you'll probably like this. And what seems like an innocent mechanism to get people engaged in social media just leads them down a path of only seeing similar points of view, only hearing the same thing over and over again, not being exposed to things that might offend them, because then they're not going to click on the next advertisement and they're going to stop using Facebook. And so what you're talking about of this separation into all of these micro tribes, and I think somebody called it like the balkanization of the human mind, where you have all these like little Eastern European like Balkan states and all these little tiny interest groups all being separated from each other, that it's all kind of being fueled by these filter bubbles and these algorithms that are only feeding us what it thinks we like.
Bro, I have people stop being friends with me because I follow Donald Trump on Facebook. I don't like Trump, but there are some things that I do.
But also, you just want to hear what he has to say, because it's always going to be interesting.
Nah, but that too. But it's like, bro, can we, first of all, everybody should not have an Instagram. Everybody should not have a Twitter. Everybody thoughts should not be seen. Period. Yeah. But really, like, we're at this point where not everybody has a chance to have a voice. Everybody shouldn't have no voice. Fuck all that. Like, everybody should not be speaking for the people. Bro, we got the influencers now become like the voice. I have friends or family members that not even caring to know what, I don't say family, my family's pretty cool, but I do have some people in the family I don't really fuck fucking with like that, but like not really checking to see why, because it's that simple thing. If you follow that person, that means that you follow them because you support them. No, I could say that I support certain things that a former president or a former candidate that was aligned with what I believed in. You know what I'm saying? But I can say there's a whole bunch of other shit that I don't. But if you feel like a person is against you, you need to be able to know why that person is against you. How are you gonna know if a person is against what you believe in if you don't follow what that person is saying? How? You know what I mean? Fox News does it, CNN does it, MSNBC does it. People do it that want to know what's going to happen in their future. You need to know how people are thinking.
And you know, in improv, something that we look for when we're trying to like delve a little bit more deeply into character is we talk about the why of the character. It's like, well, this guy is really arrogant, this character, but why? Like, what is his personal experience that led him to being arrogant? And I feel like in the dialogue in the media that you're talking about, we almost never get the why. We get a statement and we go, anyone who disagrees with this is a whatever. We're going to label this group that doesn't believe in it like idiots or rednecks or whatever. But we never get the why of the statement. Like, why have you come to the place where you think what you think is correct? And why don't you, give yourself an opportunity to be mistaken about something too?
Because people don't, you gotta look at it like this. Like when you see an article, what does it say underneath the article before you get to it? Other than the who wrote it, they'll say, this is a 2-minute read. This is a 2-minute read. Okay, good. Because if it's if it's 2 minutes and 30 seconds, I'm not gonna read it. Yeah. People don't care. People see the big bold lettering. The clickbait has been around for a long time. It's been around for a very long time. Let me rearrange this headline, so this will help me get the readers. The writers or the editors, it's a perspective, and they want to make sure that they angle it a certain type of way that goes from what they believe in, whatever the situation is. It could be the war on drugs, it could be missile crisis, it could be whatever it is. We live in this era where no one wants to read, bro. No one really wants to like get to the end of the book. Everybody just want to go to the summary. You know what I mean? They don't want to go and try to like have these conversations, bro. I've gone into a KKK house. You know what I'm saying? I had a guy who's a homie of mine, Thomas. I worked at Peshmar Distribution. Thomas used to ride around I used to ride the you call him the forklift. Thomas would ride around. Brothers would be like, hey man, whatever you do, don't talk to that motherfucker right there. I'd be like, want to talk to him? What you mean? Me as being a hard-headed person, I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want to do. Right. I would drive around Thomas, hey, what's up, man? Don't fucking talk to me. Like, don't talk to me. I really wanted to know why. I wanted to know his story. Me being, whatever you want to call it, being too inquisitive, being stupid. I don't know. Thomas got so tired of me, bro. Like, he just kind of gave in. I was like, bro, what we eating for lunch? You just get mad at me. All the black people, all the homies, they be like, bro, like, you stupid. What the fuck you doing? You gonna try to hang your ass? And I ended up being cool with old boy, like being cool with him, and just understanding that he believed in what he believed in, because it's not even so much he believed in, you know what I'm saying, that black people and white people shouldn't be integrated. It's just what his dad believed in and what his granddad believed in, and finding out it was part of the KKK. And I remember, long story short, I remember before I left to come to LA, I remember saying, hey bro, we gonna do Thanksgiving together. He said, what in the hell? What you mean we gonna do Thanksgiving together? I said, we gonna do Thanksgiving together. I'm gonna come over to the crib, man. I'm gonna do a cake, man. I want to meet your people. I knew about his people. I knew his dad, you know what I'm saying, KKK, used to be the police officer and all that stuff. He would say, man, just don't, man. Like, that's a terrible idea. I pulled up to his house. Dad, mom opened up the door. They looked like they saw a ghost. They saw a ghost, bro. Man. I said, Thomas here? Is Thomas here? He said, who the hell? Thomas, who the hell is out here? I said, I brought a cake. We're supposed to be doing Thanksgiving with y'all. Wow. And they're like, hold on one second, close the door.
Little meeting.
I don't know what they talk about. The wife, his mom opened up the door. She's like, come on in here, sweetheart. Come on in or whatever. I ain't gonna lie, but I was a little scared.
I was gonna say, it's an extremely brave gesture.
It was dark as hell on Thanksgiving. It was so dark on the Thanksgiving, but it was dark. They cut the lights on. Bro, like, it's crazy. Like, we had dinner. They were nice, but it was one of them get out type nice.
Yeah, I was just thinking of that Jordan Peele stuff. I was like, this seems like that feeling.
It was a get out type nice, bro. Before we left, like I was just asking questions, just being straight up, like, y'all part of the KKK, huh? Like,
tell me about that.
Wife grabbed dishes, like, we not eating pie today.
This is the test. It's a test for everybody.
Yeah, bro.
I got one more question for you, but I'm gonna read a spot real quick.
Fuck the KKK.
Yeah, we should just we agree on that. Speaking of unlocking your true potential, Unlock your true potential with Shirley Spiritual Yoga Meditation Healer. Experience chakra balancing, energy cleansing, and personalized meditation sessions to help you release blocks and manifest your dreams. All right, speaking of combining these kind of disparate worlds that don't usually go together.
You said desperate worlds?
Disparate.
Oh, disparate.
Like different.
Different, yeah.
Contrasting. You said that one of your parents is a psychologist. So how do you reconcile that with your own very strong spirituality? Like this idea that you have this like science-minded theory of the mind stuff, and then also your spiritual belief.
Well, my mom she's very spiritual herself. You know what I'm saying? I think for her it's more so, first of all, a lot of people that are in that field, they themselves, recognize their own personal issues. So it's like helping other people because they themselves like firsthand they understand that people are hurting,
Yeah. It's almost like a more professional version of being a comedian, which is like a lot of damaged people are comedians.
Man, you know what?
Too.
Yeah, it is. I mean, in a sense, comedy is therapy. We talk about ourselves instead. We do ask questions, we do probe a little bit. But my mom she's aware that that you have to have many different ways to help yourself. It's not all about just getting the proper medication. Medication don't always work. It's not all about just her helping her patients out and trying to figure out what they're struggling with and trying to give them the proper tools. She also knows that within the proper tools, it is what are your beliefs and what's going to help you keep you from unaliving yourself. You know what I'm saying? Or keep you from doing something to family members or whatever that's going to be destructive. So being that I grew up in the church, you know what I'm saying, and being able to explore religion, but also explore my own personal like spiritual journey. I've never really been kind of restricted or constricted to just the ideal of like the scientific aspect of like how the brain works and what my mom went to school for. She doesn't really apply a lot of that to us. She's really good at like keeping it separate. But if we do have questions on the how, which she's always available. So we never really had to deal with that type of conflict, which I understand when you ask the question, because I do have friends and family members that themselves kind of go at war with those two ideas of like spirituality and
I can also imagine that like sometimes if you're in a church and you're having personal problems, someone would just say, well, just talk to the pastor. You know what I mean? Just talk to the pastor. Like, what do you need a doctor for? What do you need a therapist for? So was there any of that kind of pushback from church, or was it just like your mom was just able to bridge that gap so easily that people were happy to have her listen to that?
I mean, by the time my mom began practicing, like I had already pretty much had my own ideas about religion. I didn't, not so much about spirituality. I didn't really understand spirituality in that sense. I hadn't even really explored it that much. But as I got older, I was influenced by many, not just my mom, but like my grandmother, my father, the community. But it wasn't so much of it wasn't a lot of spiritual conversation. It was mostly like, religion. And if I'm talking about the two, but religion, but also just my thoughts and ideas being kind of molded by seeing how my dad kind of dealt with things, seeing how my cousins, my uncles dealt with things. But religion was a thing where it was like, we go there, just a typical, you go and wash your sins away, you go and develop a relationship with God, and you in fellowship. It's big with fellowship. We didn't talk a lot about depression. I don't know how you guys did, but like, we're in the same age group, so it's like depression wasn't a thing that we just kind of like talked about. I know for damn sure in the black community, you know what I'm saying, you come in and you're like, man, I'm depressed today. Boy, you ain't depressed, you just sleepy. Go take your ass to bed. Like that wasn't that wasn't a thing,
My thing was, it was just in my family, at least on the survivor side of my family, it was like, why would you be depressed? You live in a free society, you're alive, nobody's trying to exterminate you. Like, go live your life. Like, what do you have time to be depressed about?
That's what it's like. But see, even getting to the nitty gritty of it, even with religion, you could say that you're depressed and a super religious person, oh, that's just the devil. You know what I'm saying? It's a demon that you're dealing with.
Yeah, exactly.
On the other hand, if you're talking about the field of psychology, and my mom that's not coming up. You're not talking about that. Right. You're talking about what you have in your childhood traumas. What happened. We get into the specifics, not religious. You know what I'm saying? And spiritually based. So we're not really, those two things are not really constantly integrated. It's more so about what do you believe in, and if you believe in hugging trees, that's your thing. Then if hugging trees is gonna be the shit that's gonna help you get through what you're going through, then you need to go hug some fucking trees. It's a thing. My mom understands.
I think that's underrated. Underrated is hugging trees.
You gotta hug some trees.
Good there.
Or hug a George. Find a George to hug, man. But it's she's one of them people that's like, hey, like it's whatever journey that you're going. That's my mom. Whatever spiritual journey you're going on, that's your journey. You know what I'm saying? Long as it's not, if what you're dealing with right now as you're going on that journey, as long as it's not hurting you, you know what I'm saying? As long as that journey, whatever you're going on, it can help you. Otherwise, she has to, as in her profession, she has to make her profession personal. Now, hey, this is what I think you should do. I know it's a little complicated because I am your mom. You know what I'm saying? What may have contributed to some issues that you had growing up or whatever, but I could separate the two.
So there's not stuff that I mean, I'm sure you had a good mom, so it's not like you feel like she was the cause of like all these neuroses that you can't talk to her about when she's wearing her therapist hat and you're talking to her.
Yeah, it's bro, it's my mom, my dad that raised me, not my biological dad. My mom didn't tell me till later on that. So it's definitely like some things that are in there that, and we work through it, but it's definitely like some things that kind of complicate it. You know what I'm saying? Certain dialogue, like how can I talk to you about it when you're like the kind of like part of the catalyst, you know? But me being the type of person that wants to know how a person got to where they got to, it allowed me to be able to have empathy for her, knowing that she didn't have the best relationship with her dad, you know what I'm saying? So it's all connected to something, but it's being able to have the bandwidth to give a fuck. You don't have the bandwidth to give a fuck. You don't want to know, you know, you hurt me and I'm gonna put it on you and I'm gonna move my life on and be like, fuck you versus. So I'm blessed that I'm able to have an understanding that on a spiritual level that we're just having a human experience, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I feel blessed that you're here having such an open mind and being such a good listener generally and such a good guy. And thank you for being here for this.
Man, I appreciate you, bro.
Affected, man.
We gotta do some more improvisation, baby.
Is there anything before we cut out? Is there anything that you want to promote that's coming up?
I want to promote George's shirt. I don't know what.
We like it.
First of all, that ain't even my picture. What is he doing? Why he got somebody else's picture over there? Look at that.
Oh,
that ain't even.
I can't see.
That's not my picture. But you know what's so funny? That's not my picture. He about to promote. That's my boy Larry Rim. That's my boy. I went to college with Larry.
Is that why he shows up on like a Google image search of you or something like that?
Yeah,
this man.
I searched for you, and that's it. That's what popped up.
What chat bot helped you find? See, that's why this AI shit is not fucking working.
Oh
man.
man.
I wish you had a pitch. When you do this episode, show that is not me at all. That is Larry Rim from Atlanta, Georgia. He is an actor, director, and a dancer.
That's not Gumbo.
And we only did one thing together. That was like 15 years ago. I don't know how the hell the algorithms pull his face up. Damn, George. I want to promote a better engineer and a better editor. That's what I want to promote. Nah, man. I'm at the Hollywood Improv. I do Hollywood Improv twice a month. I got the May 2nd. I don't know when this is gonna drop, but I'm pretty sure that it'll already be
out there. Is that the Better Late Than Never show?
The Better Late Than Never show is May 19th. The one that's on May 2nd is it's called Come Through. It's like it's stand-up comedy, but I'm starting to try to integrate more things. So it's like hip hop improvisation that's in it. I don't know if you do hip hop rap or whatever, but
freestyle rap.
Yeah,
very few times.
Yeah, you can do freestyle
poetry.
Do it
in the shower. Yeah,
can you do freestyle?
I can do. You know what?
Like a bluesy type poetry.
Hey man, you turn the lights on and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, but that's I'm doing that. Working on a couple of like short films and just writing, man. Just writing. Instagram, hey, that's my Twitter. Hey is Gumbo, and my IG is Gumbeezy Love. Yeah, man. I appreciate you, dog.
Yeah, appreciate you being here, man. Gumbeezy Love, check it out. This has been AI Affected.
Yeah, man. Y'all got a good if y'all got towels and stuff, I can use your towels because it's a lot of water. My fucking
Oh man, you need grout. You need tiles. You know what I had to do when I
actually was happy to, like, when you hit me, I thought, I don't want to fucking be here, bro.
Yeah, like, let the plumber do his thing. Get out of there.
I'm I'm glad I got, I can't believe I forgot about this shit, man.
Do you know what we had to do when we had that leak that made the ceiling collapse? I had to go get mold remediation.
Oh yeah, we gotta do that too.
Where they had to cut out like 2 feet from wherever the drips were just to make sure that all the mold, they got rid of that, and they had the whole fan and like airing out the whole inside of the wall.
Damn, really?
We had just redone the basement, so we had to have it done again to put the ceiling back where it was. And
we got to do the moral remediation.
And home insurance didn't want nothing to do with it. And we also had this scammy home warranty policy where it's like they're supposed to fix appliances and like, but it's such a scam because it's like you pay them $75 just to show up no matter what the problem is, which is already like how much a repair person might cost. And then they find every reason in the world to not be responsible for your shit.
Bro, they're in the business of making sure that you just don't get paid, get no money to help with this process.
Yeah.
I gotta I'm gonna run to the car real quick and I'm gonna come back and say my goodbye.
Okay.
I'm gonna hit the
how long you here for?
head.
Oh, we're good now. Okay. I'm gonna take off and go get something to eat probably.
Okay, all right, let me run, I'm gonna come.
Okay.